All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to some more Super Metroid Randomizer tournament action. This is week two, only game two of week two, as it's the first day of the second round of the Swiss tournament. We have Derp and Maniacal in these week two settings. I will be solo comming this with Asi on the tracking, and we'll see what's going on. Two very good players, teammates in Randomizer League, and teammates in the most recent world tournament. So it's very interesting. Week two settings. Last week you got used to area rando. Well, this time we have area rando. We have light area rando. So a little bit different. So all the transition locations are still the same, but if the difference is they're a little more limited. So all the criteria connections will go to other connections that would normally be off of criteria. They'll just be shuffled. So for instance, Torian will always be connected to criteria. Kraid will always be connected to norfair. Though norfair will also be somewhere in the norfair connector. So it's a little bit different and a little bit, in some ways, it's easier because you don't have to check as much because you can kind of deduce things a little bit more. But it can be a little bit harder, especially if you don't quite understand fully how it goes. Okay, we do see double moonfalls, but Michael didn't quite get it the first try, did it on the second ledge instead. Ah, yes, and Asi, our tracker, reminding me that we do also have boss shuffle, and I should add, we have major-minor splits. So the traditional major-minor, where E-tanks and reserve tank locations and all the major items are shuffled amongst themselves, ammo shuffled amongst themselves, except that one exception over at High Jump Boots E-tank being swapped with a super pack on the right side of the wreck ship. We do get an E-tank start. Maniacal and Derp, well versed in major minor. Both of them too. There's only, as it turns out, 15 players by my count that were in the original tournament that are in this tournament, the original 2017 tournament. Derp and Maniacal both among those. So veterans of major minor. Of course, area rando and boss rando, much newer, or I should say, even light area. Gonna have to get their morph balls in the ceiling. Derp gets it first try. Maniacal has to take a second try, but gets it. And early power bomb is always nice. We don't have to do a power bomb hunt. Hopefully, we also don't have to do a super hunt. This being major minor, unlike last week, no reason to check Billy Mays. Yeah, there's the small chance that your first supers are there, but definitely not something the runners are going to do right away. Just regular missiles in the second spot. Okay, I do expect we'll at least see the minor item over here. Maniacal not even gonna check the minor item. Derp wants the minor item, gets missiles. We'll see if he can checks the transition. I find in this type of area randomization, I feel like this transition is less valuable than in full area, but it's also less dangerous because it's not going to get you someplace that's going to kill you immediately. And for Derp, he immediately finds Green Burn Star, which is great. Without supers, we're going to see how far he can get. It's going to be stuff he can't do. Yeah, so hopefully for Derp's sake, there's some supers here. Maniacal will hope to find supers elsewhere. Looks like Derp wants to check the transition first. So one of these transitions will go to Red Tower, and the other one will go back to Brinstar somewhere. And this transition is going to take us to Red Tower. And Derp says, no, I don't want that. The only thing he can get there, he really can't get anything in Red Tower right now because he doesn't have those super missiles. Unless he wants to do the X-ray deboost, which one Hank and no suits is pretty tricky and very much out of logic. Maniacal, meanwhile, will check BT. And we'll get a Spazer Beam. Okay, early Spazer is nice. Obviously, you'd rather have Plasma, but if you get Spazer early, you don't have to worry about turning it off. It'll do things. Just make your shots better. And we'll get obsoleted fairly soon with that plasma beam. And if derp never goes to BT, that'll be really good for him. He probably does go there and maybe, unless he face plants the item, which is something that does happen, we'll probably skip it. Still no supers for derp, so he can't get the wave gate item. There's a reserve tank at Terminator. Says, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and take it. And we can get the Edakun's E-Tank here. Obviously can't get any of the minor item. It looks like derp is gonna wait on that. Maybe wants to, be able to get the minor item as well. Maniacal, meanwhile, finds the transition over to the wreck ship. Unfortunately, it's the worst, the less good transition. I believe that's the vanilla transition for Maniacal going into Green Brinstar. Yep. So he's gonna end up in Green Bryn as well. And still no supers. And, a side note, we only have 5 power bombs, so going to back a Gauntlet is not gonna work either. Now, derp out of power bombs, so he's gonna farm them over at these fire fleas. Only really need 1 because the B-toms at the bottom are just gonna pretty much automatically drop power bombs. Chat suggesting logical supers at Spore Spawn. We do still have Billy Mays to check. We never went back there. I said earlier, we usually don't check Billy Mays early, but, derp gonna go ahead and check for supers at the power bombs location. Even if he got another power bomb pack, that would actually be pretty good, because when he goes up that elevator, he's going to be, the vanilla location. He can check the back of Gauntlet, see if there's power bombs there. And if there are, and he's got see if there are supers there, and if he's got a second power bomb pack. But sadly, not a power bomb pack. Though all the other minor items in this area are locked by supers, derp's just going to turn around and go back, so maybe he heads over to... He can't go back. I think he just realized he can't go back because there is a green door in the way. He has to keep going forward. Yeah, and Ossie's right, suggesting that it could be a second PV pack for Gauntlet Supers. I do expect derp to at least check and see if this is a supers in the back of Gauntlet. I don't think Maniacal did. So derp first gonna check this transition. Again, it's the bad one. There's no items here. We don't have any of the items. Sorry, there's no minor items there, and we don't have any of the equipment needed to go to the wreck ship. Theoretically, if Gravity Suit were to show up, that could be required. There's the one item in wreck ship, a couple items in wreck ship area that you can get to without Fantoon being killed. And there are power bombs in the back of Gauntlet, but no supers. I don't think there's any other transitions we can get to, so I think we're down to Billy Mays. I didn't see if Maniacal checked some of these other minor locations. A little surprised that derp doesn't check Bomb Chorizo. Because, for instance, a screw attack or a speed, with this these E-tanks, a screw attack or speed would give him access to Gauntlet. We know that neither one of those is the item there. And derp face plants right into this phaser beam. Pretty sure he did not mean to do that. Yeah, I believe Maniacal checked 230, but I am not 100% sure. I'm sure Derp will hit it on his way down. Because I think between the two of them, all we haven't seen is Billy Mays. What is Maniacal? Did he go in? What are you? What? Okay. There's something we don't see every day in these. Map room. Shoutouts to MM2 and Mappo. That's actually a really dangerous room, because you will soft lock there if you don't have power bombs. Or regular bombs. There's really no need for Maniacal to fill up his... did he do etiquettes yet? Yeah, he did. Okay, so he just wants power bombs. So going in for power bombs makes sense, but oh no! Maniacal didn't check this. Because he'd have another power bomb pack. So Derp could go do Gauntlet, but we already know that Gauntlet doesn't have supers, but it does have a major item. Okay, Derp says, you know what? No, I'm not doing Gauntlet right now. Yeah, this is the Spore Spawn play from Maniacal. Now, I do wonder if maybe he meant to go into the save station in the main part of Green Brinstar, and then he could reset back to that. Because if this isn't supers, then... If this isn't supers, then he's just soft-locked. Okay, so Derp is going to check Billy Mays. And one of these places has to have supers. The good news with Derp's in a little bit better situation here. For Derp, he's gonna check this, and if this isn't the answer, he can go right back over to Spore Spawn and do Spore Spawn. Maniacal's gonna have to go all the way back around from where he's at if Spore Spawn isn't the answer. And it is not Billy Mays. Vanilla Billy Mays with 2 missiles. So it can't be Moat because we don't have supers to get to Moat, Simo. We haven't... Oh, we did see the... Oh, we saw the Red Tower connection, so let me think. Unless Grapple Beam or Space Jump is at... Like, because you can't get to any of the minor items in... Yeah, the only item you can get to is X-Ray, and we don't have the items for that to be in Logic. And find the Moat transition Red Tower. Yeah, okay. So Red Tower has a ton of transitions, so there could be a transition that we need to go to. So Derp says, you know what, I'm not doing Spore Spawn. I'm going to try and go to Red Tower and see if I can find a transition that'll take me to some supers. I don't know that Derp's taken any saves yet, so... And there they are at Spore Spawn. Good news for Derp is that doesn't mean he's not going to be able to find a super pack in his travels here. But Maniacal, it takes a bit of a lead with finding those supers. We can't even check the spazer. That also is locked behind supers. Yeah, I think, you know, Maniacal skipping wave gate, I think maybe he's forgotten about it. Since he couldn't do it earlier. Maybe just wants to check this minor item. Finding out that, you know, because he didn't check this earlier. Okay, 3 E-tanks is enough to get to Bubble Mountain. You need only 2. But Derp says, nope, I'm not doing that hell run. So Maniacal's shortly going to find this transition. He's going to be able to check spazer. So Derp gonna check these 2 connections and see what he gets. Yeah, now can be in logic to fall down from here, but I don't think you want to do that right now. Especially given that I don't think Derp has a save. If the transitions that you can get to falling down like that are bad, he has no recourse. Maniacal is going to check this the tube connection. This is out of logic, so we don't have either high jump or gravity suit. And it's a one-time check. And it's vanilla, so can't do anything with it. Okay, Derp makes his way back to Criteria. Still no supers for Derp. We'll get to see what's over at spazer. Okay, a little surprised Derp doesn't check the other. Oh, I think, yeah, that last connection has to be Turian. He's checked everything else, so there's really no reason for him to check that. Meanwhile, Maniacal finds Screw Attack over at spazer, which is a really nice item. Okay, we're gonna see. Derp's gonna go ahead and check Gauntlet here. With 10 power bombs, he has plenty to get through. He knows the back is not going to be a major item, but it's not going to be a super pack, but he does. This major item might be something useful for him. Can't be a suit, but it could be something good like speed or charge or high jump or space jump. We know it won't be Screw Attack, which would be a nice find here too. Ice Beam's nice. Meanwhile, Maniacal looks like he's gonna try and get some more miners here. So there's a good chance Maniacal never gets that Ice Beam, though it could be logically required depending on where Dragon is and where Speed Booster is. One of the really cool aspects I find of Boss Rando is if Dragon's not vanilla, you get an alternative path over to the Meridia boss, which is, I think, pretty cool. Okay, Maniacal also getting an extra super pack, which is really nice for him. And Derp hadn't gotten this reserve tank yet. He's got it now. So now most of the hell runs are in logic in Norfair, everything but Cathedral. And since we know supers aren't at Cathedral, we don't have to worry about that. Derp's still not taking Spore Spawn, though. And we still haven't found any supers that aren't behind a super pack. Although, I suppose Derp could just still go for the back of, go back to Blueprint and go from there. To get back to Spore Spawn, I don't think that's faster. The other possibility is Derp could start doing hell runs. And hope to find some supers there, and he might. Yeah, I think Derp's thinking Hell runs in Norfair. He's got the tanks for it now. Okay, let's see if Maniacal does a gauntlet from here. Be good for him. He'd get that ice beam. Okay, which way are we going, Derp? Okay, we're headed towards Norfair. Okay, Maniacal's gonna get his ice beam. I don't know if ice beam saves the amount of time it takes to pick up here. Although for Maniacal, it'll be a lot faster because he's got screw attack. But again, it could still be required for something in Meridia. So better to have it than not have it at this point. I mean, when I say, yeah, does it save time, I'm specifically talking about Turian. It's definitely not. You're definitely not unhappy to see Ice Beam there, and just because the question is, if let's say if this were to be like a spoiler log, would you go out of your way to get it? I don't know. But again, it could still be hard required. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Derp should easily make it up to Bubble Mountain here. At Bubble Mountain, there is one ammo pack that he can just see, and he could get to the one over at Wave, and that's it. So if neither one of those is supers, he's still out of luck. He can't get to the reserve tank area. He can't get to the speed booster area, and I forget what it is from the reverse. Cathedral missiles. I say power bombs because kind of a throwback to season 1 of League, where that location tended to have power bombs much more than it should have. Shoutouts to slowest speed, which we got rid of in large part because of that. From this side, I don't know how many E-tanks it would be to get to that location. He did take a save, so if he doesn't make it all the way there and back, it is just power bombs, which we really don't need any more of. We've got 15. If this isn't an E-tank or a Varia suit, Derp's not going to have enough health to be able to get get the transition check and get out. It is an E-tank, so he could check the transition. Maniacal, meanwhile, goes back for Wave Gate and gets a Spring Ball. So we're starting to get the Suitless Meridia items, which is always interesting. Still missing high jump for that, so Suitless Meridia is never on the table for any of our settings unless you have high jump boots. It's an interesting save for Maniacal to take. I'm not sure I understand this. Yeah, that's definitely not where you want to be, Derp. So Derp finds Lower Norfair, the front side of. Yeah, so Simo, it was 6 E-tanks for the item from Business Center to get Cathedral missiles, is the logic. Again, those of us who played Season 1 League are intimately familiar with that location, because it came up as first power bombs a few times in slowest seeds. I don't know what it is from this direction. I think it could legit be less from this direction. But he's got to be thinking about that location right now. Maniacal, in the meantime, is going to try and get over to the wrecked ship. Now, this is out of logic because we don't have high jump and we don't have gravity suit. But I think you can do this with Spring Ball and or Ice Beam, and he's got both of those. And that explains the save at Spore Spawn, because if this is a boss he can't kill, and right now, he really can't do Ridley. He really can't do Dragon. Well, he can kill Dragon, but he can't get out. He's gonna wanna reset back to the save that he has. Meanwhile, Derp finds Croc. Not a whole lot of spots where so we can't get one of the majors here because he doesn't have supers to get the gate glitch, and we don't have anything to jump to that second major. Also, we have what? 2 minors we can get to? Yeah, 2 minors we can get to. And Maniacal seeing why this is out of logic. It's like I said, it's doable. I think he probably would have been better off leaving that pancake alive there. I guess Spring Ball at the waterline is very, very difficult. You'll see this is, I think, going to be the same Spring Ball jump that you can use to get to the wrecked ship E-Tank. There we go, that'll work. Oh, maybe not. Come on, Maniacal, you got this. Okay, so this item here, for Derp to get this item, he's gonna have to do something tricky. I think if he's gonna want to get these gamuts high enough so he can freeze them and get up there. There's also a D boost you can do. That is not, yeah, there we go. In fact, we kind of combine the two. Very nicely done from Derp, and he gets a super pack. Little does he know that's not the logical one. So now he can get both major items if he wants, because he can do the gate glitch to get to the other major item. Okay, so we're gonna see what this boss is. We also know that yeah, you're not doing this right now, Maniacal. Oh, are you? Not sure what his plan is to get out. I don't think a double spring ball is gonna work without high jump. Maybe some people that maybe have tried more of that can enlighten me if that's not true. I guess, yeah, okay, yeah. Ossie's got it right. He wants this to be grapple. Even if it is grapple, the high jumpless grapple escape is not free. Actually, not even sure he's going to survive this fight at this point. I assume he's got a full reserve tank, but only 56 health. This fight just becomes very dangerous. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I don't think he's coming back here. He took that save way back at Pink Brinstar. Probably, and when he got there, he'd probably say, you know what? I might as well see if I can kill Dragon, see if the item's useful. And if it's not, I'm going to reset anyway. So I don't think he goes back. I think he's going to head over to Norfair now. He's got 3 plus 1 E-Tank, so, all the hell runs in logic. Derp finding X-Ray, which really doesn't do a whole lot for us unless we find Charge Beam. So after all that, with Derp having... I would actually put Derp slightly in the lead at this point, given the amount of time Maniacal spent in going towards wreck ship. It's really not a big lead. I don't know when Derp's last save is. He just needs to get to the refill room. He knows how to do pause of use. Oh, he's just gonna completely... Yeah, he should be fine now. Yeah, he's gonna go to this room. He should have turned... he probably didn't think about it, but you really want to turn your ice beam off for these farms, and he probably could have easily done it while he was using his reserves there. Nah, to the statement in chat that Maniacal might have forgotten about Boss Rando. If he had forgotten about Boss Rando, he doesn't take the save that he took in Pink Print Star. So he absolutely remembered this was Boss Rando. He was just hoping that he'd get, you know, he had a 50% chance that it was going to be a boss he could do. And he lost that coin flip. Brian's norfair, and he's going to go through norfair and going to be back over where derp is now. So yeah, small lead for derp, but mainly because derp has already done croc. Maniacal, of course, hasn't gotten there yet, and we'll see if he even does croc, because you can... One of the nice things about area rando is you find croc's area. If you don't want to kill croc, you just leap right out. Maniacal gonna have the advantage here, where he can just go right ahead and do all these checks, because he's already got his super packs. So we're gonna see speed from derp only a little bit earlier than we're gonna see. Oh no, Maniacal's gonna go for the D-boost and check the reserve tank first. Gets the D-boost just fine. And there's charge beam, so that's a really nice find. Maniacal making nice use of spring ball to get over into this next room. And we get a wave beam that I don't think he's not going to be able to keep that. I don't know whether he comes back for it. I mean, if Maniacal really wants that wave beam, what he could do is, now that he could farm an extra super, because he still have to use one to open the door, and then he could go ahead and be ready to crystal flash for it. Don't really need wave beam at this point. It is a nice to have. Another one of those things where I don't know if it actually saves the amount of time you would need. And I liked what derp tried there with freezing, with the freeze there, but it didn't quite work out. You can get up here by freezing these guys. What you want to do is immediately freeze, like walk out of the door, and then immediately, upon walking out of the door, angle up and freeze the guy. Okay, Maniacal will get his charge beam. Might be more inclined to want to go back for that wave beam with charge beam, because it's just... It'll do more for him with charge beam. Gets another super pack. So now if he wants to... Yeah, he's got the crystal flash now. So derp's gonna see that wave beam. I think derp has enough to get out. He doesn't have ammo for a crystal flash. He's down one super. Yeah, and chat making a good point. While it's not logical, having wave beam would make it easier to get through Proc Speedway using the speedless speedway trick. So that by itself might be a reason to pick it up. Oh, derp's one last time. This is going to be an E-tank. Because we saw this. Wait, derp was the one that saw this. This was an E-tank, right? I swear we saw this on derp side. Yeah, it's just an E-tank. Okay. I guess he must have reset it. Right, because he did check the transition. The transition went to lower norfair and he couldn't keep it. And he decides he wants it. It looks like Maniacal does want that wave beam. So very early full beam combo. No suits yet, though. So the early ammo hunt is the only ammo hunt we're dealing with. There we go. Maniacal gets the D-boost. Has enough for a crystal flash this time, so you should be able to get it just fine. So going to business center going to be in logic with the number of tanks we have. It's just not in logic to do with in this direction. If the runners have to go back the other way, they are going to have to go the normal way. And another super pack. Yeah, I think Maniacal's going to just make it out. Or no, he's gonna play it safe and just do the crystal flash here. Yeah, I think that's smart. We get gravity suit. Actually, no surprise. Most of our connectors at this point involve gravity suit. Because we saw Dragon at Wreck Ship, and that gravity suit will put it in logic to actually go there. And we'll be able to kill Dragon, and the other end of that connector will take us to East Meridia. And so that whole area will be in logic. Now, we could find a Ridley at East Meridia, and that would be not in logic without a Varia suit. We're gonna see Ice Beam from derp. And then we'll see him check the connectors. One of them's going to be the back of Lower Norfair, and the other one is going to be Kraid. And I expect we'll see him at least check the Kraid boss. High jump boots. Oh, hey, we got the two things that put Meridia things in logic. Maniacal, meanwhile, saving over at Bubble Mountain. Probably going to head over to Business Center as well. I don't think Maniacal has checked this connector yet, so he wants to do that. Probably hoping it's Kraid. Now, let's see what derp does here, because he could save down here. And that way, if he goes to the Kraid, if he goes to Kraid and he finds it's not Kraid, or I should say, if he finds it's Ridley, or to his, well, right now he knows he can kill Dragon, so to his mind, there's a 75% chance that he's gonna be able to do this boss. And he could just reset to Business Center if it turns out to be Ridley. But he decides, nope, I'm just not gonna save. He could save at Kraid itself. Yeah, he's gonna take the save here. I kind of like the save better in Business Center because it brings you further back. Derp wants a refill. Yeah, I mean, if this is Dragon, you want to have more health here. With Gravity Suit, Phantoon probably you'd be fine. With Creator, you'd definitely be fine. But he does have full microwave for a Dragon, so. And it's just great. Okay. Okay, Maniacal seeing his lower norfair connection. Just an E-tank behind Kraid. Derp says, you know what, I don't have Very Suit. Just in case I run into Ridley at a spot that I don't expect, I want that E-tank. And actually, one of the other nice things about boss order in these is it makes hell runs more viable, hell runs to lower norfair more viable, because at the end, you may not be fighting Ridley. And it makes killing Ridley more viable, because you're not doing the hell runs in between. Now, that's of course assuming Ridley is not vanilla. If he's vanilla, then it's just the same, it's kind of same old, only it is a little bit better from the back, but that's an area thing, not a boss order thing. So since Kraid was here, we do get one other major check here. And it's Various Suit, so yeah, that's actually go mode. We don't actually need speed. Well, we have Ice Beam anyway, so we can get to the Meridia boss. So I would expect Derp to just go ahead and do lower norfair from the back right now. And there he is. So Derp's never gonna get Screw Attack or Spring Ball. We might still see speed if it's in one of these locations. I don't know if you probably don't check Fire Fleas. You might check the item. I guess this is going to be either Ridley or Phantoon. If it's Ridley, then you might check the item. If it's Phantoon, there's no item to check. From there, the path is pretty easy. You go back and you take the connector that Maniacal took earlier into the back of Wreck Ship. I forget which criteria connector that was. And then you just follow that straight to East Meridia. And East Meridia will spit you out in West Meridia, and then you can make your way back to Red Tower and then back to Criteria to get to Turian. Looked like Derp was going for the Hundo strat on the Metal Pirates. Didn't quite get it, but still did a very nice job. If you can manage to shoot that charge beam at them while they're moving away from you, it does have a tendency to double hit. And who we got? We got Phantoon. All the major items that Phantoon gives us are all in the Wreck Ship. By the time we get back there, there's going to be no reason to pick up any of those. This is going to make a few things a little bit more difficult. We're going to have to go through Spiky Room of Death, for instance, as Wreck Ship will be active when Derp gets there. And of course, with Microwave Beam, you can make very quick work of Phantoon. It's a little bit different than the other bosses that allow you to do that, because you have to actually shoot a missile first, and then you can apply the Microwave Beam. But Derp did it just fine. No problems for him. Maniacal, meanwhile, gonna hit Kraid here. Now, Maniacal is gonna know he's in go mode at this point. Okay, never mind. We have Ice Beam for getting to the Meridia boss. I was thinking that Maniacal knows that he's gonna be able to fight Dragon before doing Meridia, but they've got Ice Beam, so. Ice Beam will also get you there. This week, you're going to see, in general, 3 ways, logically. And it can be logically required to kill Dragon before you go to Meridia, in order to get to the Meridia boss in Boss Random. That does happen. So we're going to have 3 ways to get over there. We'll have Ice Beam, Speed Booster, as well as kill Dragon somewhere else and be able to get through that way and have the doors be open. Runners also always have the option of the Crystal Flash Club, but that'll never be in logic. Yeah, Maniacal finds Kraid. And Derp is going to check Fire Flaze. Grabs a 7th E-Tank. Maybe he wants it for stand-up. Maybe he was just going to grab whatever is here. Speed would have been a really nice find here. At this point, that'd probably be the thing you'd want the most of what's left out there. We know it won't be Spring Ball or Screw Attack. Derp doesn't know that. Bombs and Space Jump are nice luxury items at this point, but neither one is particularly needed. Like Derp's just gonna tank the damage from the 3 Musketeers with this much health. Can do that. Maniacal gets his Various Suit. He knows he's in go mode. Maniacal heading towards Lower Norfair. And Derp's gonna need to make his way back to the Red Tower transition so that he can make his way back to the wreck ship transition. Oh, actually back to Green Brinstar to get back to the Red Tower. Get Red Tower to Green Brinstar to wreck ship. I don't think he's checked this transition yet. He might decide to search for the Meridia path. Do that first. If it's right here, that'd be really nice for him. And it is. That worked out really well for Derp. He's just gonna go do this from this direction. From the Forgotten Highway side of Meridia. Meanwhile, Maniacal in his Fantoon fight doesn't have the microwave, but, you know, with this beam combo, he could just do... Looks like he's going for Dopplers, but this is like a free 2-round. If you do 2 missiles, charge shot, and then repeat. Yeah, like that. So you should just be able to finish this off with one charge shot, I believe. Still a 3 round, so still pretty good. And since Derp has not killed Dragon, he's gonna have to go around the long way. We'll have to kill Batwoon. This might, with as quickly as he got to the East Meridia connector, this is probably going to be quicker. And what he's gonna do after this is he'll be able to go through the connector the other direction, make his way to wreck ship from there, and then follow the wreck ship path all the way back to Criteria. So this actually works out pretty well for him. And we're gonna see Ridley here. Get a nice ice clip here. Get to see some microwave action on Batwoon. Blink and you miss it. I mean, nothing wrong with the grapple beam. We have to go this way anyway. Derp is going to either have to use power bombs or mid-air morphs to get through this. Chooses to use power bombs. These mid-air morphs are kind of tricky if you have high jump on. So it's going to be faster just to use those power bombs. He doesn't have the spring ball that Maniacal has. So in the end, I think the big difference here was Maniacal's trip over to the wreck ship the first time. He got there. It was very, very slow because he didn't have the items. He didn't even have high jump boots. Didn't have gravity suit. The boss was one he couldn't kill, so he couldn't use that. And even though he had the reset back, it still took a lot of time. It's like Derp just gonna do a typical old route Ridley fight with the charged plasma beam. It's like gonna finish him off with some supers. There we go. Might check the item. Again, speed would be the thing you'd want most here. He says, nope, not gonna check the item. There's plenty of other items it could be another E-tank. We've only found half of them. So. Looks like Maniacal's gonna do this the other direction. He'll go to wreck ship from the back and make his way through to Meridia. Oh no, he's gonna do this. He's actually doing this the same way that Derp did it, because this will get him to East Meridia. So we're basically following on the path that Derp was in. Okay, and there's the wreck ship for Derp. Easy to get over here when you have a gravity suit. Yeah, if Maniacal could have managed to kill Dragon and get out with the Dragon kill, he could have saved a little bit of time here. But it would have been slow to get back out too, so I don't know if that would have made the difference. I mean, ideally, what you really wanted when he checked that wreck ship area was a Phantom. That way you'd have a chance of getting some useful items. When you have boss rando, it's actually relatively common that wreck ship just really doesn't come into play, depending on where your Phantom is. And that is a very quick Dragon kill with the microwave beam from derp. Setting up for gravity suit to get gravity jump to get out. Not going to check the item. I'm actually really curious what the item is here. Just wondering if it would have. I guess it wouldn't. Yeah, we already know the grapple is not here. So whatever this item is, it wasn't going to get Maniacal out of Dragon's room. Really no reason for derp to check any of these. None of these things are quick enough that, again, unless you find speed, it's the only way you're going to save time picking up anything. And there's so many places left to check. So, like, it really would be hard to justify. And to answer chat, yeah, it absolutely could have been speed. But if you're not going to check the item behind Dragon or the item behind Ridley for speed, you're not going to check right supers for speed. Because that's a longer check. And derp knows where Turian is because he's seen every other connector. Okay, that's Ridley down for Maniacal. And he's gonna leave Meridia and make his way over to the wreck ship. Right, derp making quick work of Metroid Room 1. Gets caught in Metroid Room 2. Without bombs, we have to just use power bombs here. Fortunately, we have 20. No shortage of power bombs here. Maniacal back to the wreck ship area. And we'll get his revenge on Dragon. Probably we'll see a grapple kill here. Looks like Derp's not going to be going for baby skip, already damaging himself down. It's a little trickier without speed booster, so. Or maybe he just damaged. Yeah, he kind of went for it, but I think he kind of knew that it wasn't going to happen, so. And Maniacal getting ready for the Dragon. Maniacal with a very nice grapple quick kill. Also setting up for the gravity suit right away. Not gonna check the item. And 20 shots for Derp to finish off Mother Brain 2. Has the energy for stand-up. Gonna use his supers. Which is fine. Here comes the ketchup. Looks like Derp is setting up for a stand-up. I don't believe he took off his various suits, so he's going to have to do this, get up and damage himself down very quickly here. There we go. There we go. Jumps at the appropriate time. Doing a nice job of stand-up. Did look like he took damage for a second, which is kind of weird because the health went down as it was going up. It's kind of funny looking. Alright, Mother Brain is down for Derp. Just the escape to go. Derp, remembering he doesn't have speed booster. Nice final moonfall from derp. Nice wall jumps up the left side. Again, no speed booster. And derp, gonna go ahead and he will enter that ship and finish with an official race time of 1:05:38. GG to derp. We'll go 2-0 in the Swiss. It'll take Maniacal down to 1-1. Maniacal didn't see if he was going for baby skip. Doesn't get it. And we are joined by derp. GG's.
Yeah, GG. That was a seed.
So do you want to know where your actual first supers were?
I was talking to Maniacal in the race room. They were at Sports Spawn, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I should have checked Sports Spawn. I was thinking about it. I made the decision that they were going to be somewhere else dumb, and I would find them at some point along the way.
And you did.
I did.
Croc paid off. You got the nice D boost there. That was pretty cool. You don't see that every day.
Yeah, I got to use all of the items available. You know, the ice beam. I don't know if you can do that without ice, without freezing the bugs. Maybe
yeah, I want to say you can because there's I believe there is some sort of logic to do that in SMZ3, but I don't know if that involves ice or not.
I don't know. I was actually really confident when I saw that because I thought that would be the first intended supers, but I guess not. It seems like after that I kind of god routed the seed, and it led Maniacal because he was closer to ship to a different path that did not work out.
Yeah. The biggest difference, it wasn't the supers. It was the Maniacal took a trip over to the wreck ship with no high jump and no gravity suit, and found Dragon there. And yeah, for those of you that are wondering, we've gone ahead and marked Maniacal done. So if he wants to come in for an interview, he can do so right now. His stream is just fine. But yeah, that was the biggest factor. Because after that, he was just like about 5 or 6 minutes behind you the rest of the way. Joining us is Maniacal. GG's. I was just telling derp, like the biggest thing was that trip to the wreck ship. You want to talk about that for a second?
I can't hear Maniacal.
I can't hear him either. He's not lighting up either. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, sorry. GG. I just had my audio set up badly. But yeah, GG derp.
GG's.
Yeah, I played that one pretty well like trash, so deserved to lose. So not surprised by the result at all. Felt like I needed to gamble and get lucky after I played the early game so badly.
Yeah, you were actually your early game was a little bit better because derp missed the Spore Spawn power bombs. Or sorry, the Spore Spawn super missiles.
I'm not convinced that getting them is right because it looks like they gave them out for free later.
I would not call
that free. that was not a free super pack. It was at Croc power bombs.
Yeah, but you had Ice Beam, right?
He had ice beam, no high jump.
So you
and
just
D-boost.
bait the Zoa up,
Yeah,
and then
that's
it's
what
a
he
free
did.
jump. So
If
you
it's
don't even
free.
really need
I guess.
you don't really need to do the D-boost. Like the D-boost is a pain, but because it gave you ice, I was just really hoping they wouldn't put the supers in a spot like that.
Mm-hmm.
Given that it's very, you kind of expect it to be trash, and then it signals it's going to be trash, and then it isn't. So that was a bit of a letdown when I found that out post race.
No, Derp also went back to Billy Mays to check. I don't think you ever got back there. So
No, Billy Mays is so low value in Varia in situations,
it really
especially
is.
major minor, because like if it's going to be trash, it's algorithmically not going to pick Billy Mays. And if it's not going to be trash, it's going to give you a degenerate pack elsewhere.
Sure. Yeah, because
So,
Billy
like,
Mays is available with your first power bomb pack, technically speaking.
Yeah,
so.
I'm never touching Billy Mays in major minor, especially major minor area.
I believed.
Yeah, I mean,
it was vanilla.
with early power bombs, like you might spike something tasty there. You know, if it's full rando, I can get it, or like full countdown and you see criteria is 4 or something.
Yep.
That I can get behind the play, but in this, I wasn't touching that unless it absolutely forced me to. But
yeah, that was a backtrack for him too. So he went all the way back down there and then headed over to norfair without supers.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the rest of the tale from there.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. The seed was pretty free if you just went aggressively into norfair. I just didn't. I decided to do that full extra loop of the top of the map, hoping that it was. I was really hoping that the signal was Gauntlet, and then Gauntlet was, not really all that helpful. I think that was where the ice beam was.
Yeah.
Which was important, so you had to get there, but that signaled to me, I was like, well, that puts the stupid back of wrecked ship thing in, and I felt like I at that point my movement was bad enough that I needed to gamble it.
Yeah, technically the ice beam wasn't even required because you could have done wreck ship first, killed Dragon, and gone that way too.
Yeah, it was a useful thing to have.
Yeah, because I think both of you did the same route, which I didn't even think about, but I think you guys were smarter than I was on that one. Finding the other side of the Meridia portal, not the wreck ship side, and then looping back through wreck ship that way. That way you're back in criteria to get to Turian rather than having to backtrack all the way from East Meridia.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the default there.
Yeah.
That seemed like the only logical route to me.
Yeah, I mean the other way is to go to wreck ship, kill Dragon, then go through Meridia. But yeah, I think I think your way was much better.
Yeah, I looked at that route, not because Dragon is in wreck ship, you can get away with it a little bit because then you end up with a faster route in Meridia.
Right.
But it didn't seem competitive from where you were in Kraid's Lair.
Right. And then you get the really quick transition where you're in West Meridia for 30 seconds, if that, because the first transition you checked was the closest one, and it was just there.
Yeah, the West Meridia route, I wasn't sure if I got that right. I mean, I think the way I took was right, but I'm pretty bad at area, so I probably got it wrong. Or at least I'm as likely to have gotten it wrong as gotten it right.
Mm-hmm. I think in this case you got it right, but yeah, I mean, it certainly isn't obvious, I guess.
Because
that makes sense.
With Red Tower, there's so many ways into West Meridia.
Right. Okay. Maniacal finishing with an official race time of 1:13:37.
Elite. I'm actually pretty happy with the way I routed that. I'm not happy with how indecisive I was early game. Saw me running around.
Yeah,
a little bit. And I try to avoid that as much as I can and stuff like this. And bingo. That was the reason I was so good at bingo before other people were, is just because I would not do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a little lost in the sauce this season.
Yeah, I too got lost in the sauce. It was a little unfortunate. I didn't realize that Varia had turned on all of the really dumb terrain modifications. I thought that they kept the total ones and then added platforms for area, but I didn't think that they did things like opening some of the bomb transitions.
You're talking pre-spore save?
Yeah, like the Spore Spawn save, I didn't realize they'd cut that one open.
Yeah, they have added a lot of extra soft lock prevention since the total version.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
feel
if I
like that's
totally
really
agree with
dumb.
it, but
I don't like it much at all, and I was very sad to see it.
I mean, I've gotten to the point where the only terrain modification I like is the one in Red Tower to get up it without high jump
I
boots.
I
The rest
agree. I
the
think that
rest I
that
could
one's
live without.
reasonable.
Yeah, the rest
And
yeah, I mean, I think you kind of need that one to be able to get back up. Like, you don't want to have to be like, well, if I don't get a thing to get back up. But everything else, at this point,
although with the rolling save thing that they do, I feel like, are you really going to save 3 times down Red Tower when you don't know if you can get back up? And if so, you kind of
well,
deserve it.
I'm just thinking in general, like not just
Yeah.
area, but in general, I could live without all the extra soft lock protection. But I think that it all comes as a package deal. So the Red Tower
Mhm.
one, if the Red Tower one's on, the rest of them are on.
But
And
that
I
hasn't
think the
been
Red
the
Tower one
case
is needed.
previously. Like it was just the Red Tower one,
No, Varia's never
and just
had that. Well, no,
the
okay.
one in early supers in Bryn
Let me
Reserve, the shop block
let me
there.
rephrase. The shot blocks that Total has had in the randomizer back in 2017 were always
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
They have added ones since that I don't necessarily agree with. Like
Which
there's
one did they add?
there's a few of them. There's the one they added. There's one they
They
added
made
at Moat. That's
yeah
Yeah,
in
they made
Moat
the moat wider. I know that.
yeah, the
changed.
Moat
They
water's
made it
new. The
wide and they
Spore
changed
Spawn.
the bomb block, which I
Yeah,
don't get. I
they
guess it's so that if you're doing the power bomb, the really stupid power bomb jump, that you can get back out.
I think that's for random start though too. I'm not sure. Anyway, it is what it is. So
Yeah, but I was very disappointed after farming power bombs, and after and when I saw the modifications, for some reason I was thinking that they had changed over because I know they added a bunch of extra save points, like in West Meridian and stuff. I
yeah.
thought that they'd added that they had for whatever reason made the map station in Green Brain into the save.
Yeah,
So
I was
that's why I
wondering
went
why you
there.
went down. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was the save, and then I was just like, okay, well, heck it, I'll just go back and
Yeah,
use
the save was one door down.
because I farmed up. I know vanilla it's there. For some reason, I thought they'd reappropriated that space for something because I know they did all these really weird,
Right, I'd forgotten about
like
that. Yeah.
inexplicable things. So like I just ran around in Bryn for like 4 minutes for no reason.
Mhm.
I don't think that made a difference. The difference in this one to me was me playing badly and me gambling that Wrecked Ship would have one of the 3 non-Dragon bosses.
Mhm.
And
Well, to be
just
fair, I'm not sure
whiffing.
you were getting through a Ridley fight there either. So
Yeah, Ridley was going to be super tight. That's for sure.
Mhm.
If it was really flipping a coin, and then if it's Ridley, giving it my best,
yeah,
or hoping that Dragon would have behind it a way out.
yeah. I think it would. I think grapple was your only. Yeah, grapple, and of course that wasn't.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
found grapple
was
later.
later at Botwoon.
Mhm.
But yeah, not really pleased with how I played, but that's gonna happen.
We'll do that sometimes.
Yeah, them's the breaks. Pretty unhappy with how I played yesterday's match too. So maybe I'll get it together and play a little bit better here in the future. But just got to keep at it.
Yeah, I mean, different. Yeah, next week I think goes back to non-area. I want to say.
It's Chozo non-area, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll have to brush up on that a little bit. It's been a while.
I have not done Chozo in a while because I do not.
I would say I know
Really?
you don't like Chozo derp because when we matched up in the last week of League Season 2, I was like, I don't want to do full, and you're like, I don't want to do Chozo, so major minor it was.
Yeah. Not huge on Chozo either. I think it's interesting. It's got some redeeming qualities. There's some cool logic in Chozo.
I do well.
I
think I do well in Chozo. I kind of like Chozo, but
yeah, settle into. It's a cool mode. All the modes are pretty cool. This one I think is a bit of a rough matchup. I think derp is very good at light area specifically.
Yep.
So, I needed to gamble, get a little lucky, and instead got a little unlucky, and so that was kind of the end of it for me.
All right. Anything
Yeah,
else?
GG Derp. Thanks
Yeah,
for the
anything-
comms, Tracy.
No problem. Anything else either one of you wants to add before we close this out?
I don't really have anything. GG's. Y'all. Shout out Aussie tracking.
Oh, hell yeah.
He's cool.
Absolutely. I can't do this without a tracker, so. Yeah. Okay, that'll do it for us. Right now, over on SpeedGaming 3, we have Bonus versus Zeb. Tomorrow, a lot of games on the schedule. Not a lot have channels right now because we need crew. I will try and get the 10. We do have crew for 10 o'clock a.m. That'll be Sentient Flatbread versus Slow Guy. And currently on the schedule, we have at 7 o'clock another really good one. We have Farfaloo versus Sloters. That'll be a really, really good matchup. Kind of an old versus new. Sloters, another one of those players from the original tournament. Farfaloo coming over from the SMZ3 side, relatively new to. He was in League last year, but relatively new beyond that. So that'll be a fun matchup. But yeah, that'll do it for us. I'd like to thank our runners, Derp and Maniacal. Looks like Aussie put the commands in chat to follow them, so go ahead and please click on those links and follow these two. Very good runners. Huge shout outs to Aussie for tracking this race for me. I always call the trackers the MVPs for a reason. We can't do it without them. And thank you, all of you out there for watching, and we'll see you at the next one over on Speed Gaming 3 or sometime tomorrow.